What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to NinerCast. I'm Chris. Hope you're all having a great day. Gonna do this video here. I'm gonna recap a little bit, talk a little bit about the Giants game, and then we're gonna move on into our week 4 preview against Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Giants game, after having a time to kind of like digest everything, and like hearing some of the hate that was on the internet, the interwebs, the world that is not real. I never once thought it was a real shit game. I thought it looked a little rocky in the beginning. I thought Brock was a little shaky in the beginning. But after you get the details on it, especially like the next day or even that afternoon, that night after the game, when you find out how much the Giants blitzed, it's like 85%. And then you kind of look at Brock and you're like, whoa, that's pretty good, dude. So, like I said, a little rocky in the beginning, but it seemed like he settled down. He settled down like a savvy old vet. And I don't know what else you could expect. What else would you want from your quarterback, whether he's 23 or 28? He did a hell of a job. I'm not gonna sit here and talk a bunch of shit about other people, but man, there are some bad takes out there. Florio, what do you say? Man, this can't be a real quarterback name because his last name rhymes with Turdy. Jesus Christ, dude. Can you imagine being the dude that said that on national television or a giant platform, a giant YouTube platform, and say that live? Who was he on with? Peter King? Peter King was like, dude, that's the silliest shit I've ever heard. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was. I don't listen to that guy too much. The only reason I probably ever click on that dude is probably because he's with Chris Sims. I like Chris Sims. He can talk without sound like a total asshole, which is it's kind of rare these days. So yeah, fuck Florio. Chris Sims, he's all right though. But overall, the Giants game, I had it 30-10. I think was my pick. 31-10. I wasn't too far off. Not it's not the way I expected to go. I mean, my hat's off to the Giants, man. They played hard. I gotta respect that. Came out to play. It wasn't good enough, but they tried. That blitz thing, I don't know if I would have committed to the blitz that long. After Brock starts beating you on it, I think you just got to try to find something else to do. Disguise your coverage a little bit better. Hit some different zones, some zone blitzes. Change it up a little bit. I'm not saying they didn't zone blitz. I'm not saying that, but this all out bringing 7 dudes the whole time. If you're getting beat, you got to adjust. It's just like if you were an offensive coordinator. If you got something that's not working, you got to make changes. And they don't seem like they just made any changes. They just blitz almost every play. So I guess that was your game plan was just a blitz. You did a great job. But at the end of the day, Niners win, Giants lose. And Niners move on to 3-0. One of the 3 teams, Niners, Philadelphia, and Miami. That Miami game was crazy. I watched that game. That was the morning game here in California. Dude, that team is fast, man. Super fast. I was joking with a buddy of mine that day. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it'd be better if we did face Miami in the Super Bowl instead of the Chiefs, wouldn't that be good? Miami knocks the Chiefs out, and we got Niners Miami. Then as that Miami game went on, I was like, nope, change my mind. I'd rather have the Chiefs. I would rather have the Chiefs than face that. Now that doesn't mean Miami's going to look anything like that come February or January for that matter. I mean, this team could look different by fucking November. I don't know, but they could be decimated by injury. Just anybody else can. It's just from that quarterback position, which hits kind of close to home with us as well. Hits very close to home. But that team would fall apart instantly. But you could say that about any team in the NFL, really. You lose your quarterback, that's tough. What the Niners did last year when Trey went down, then Jimmy came in, and we kept it rolling. We got Christian McCaffrey in an awesome trade. Jimmy goes down, then we got Brock stepping in. So we're going into our third quarterback, and we still go to the NFC Championship game. That is not normal for two reasons. One, most teams don't go to three quarterbacks or even get to their third. Most teams, if their starter goes down, it's pretty much season's over. Most of the time. That's how it usually works. Now, sometimes you can have a journeyman that's going to come in and maybe keep you alive for a little while. And then sometimes you get really lucky and you got your number two comes in and he takes advantage of the opportunity and he ends up being really good. That's happened. Tom Brady. I mean, he got his job because Bledsoe went down. Now, he probably would have got a shot eventually, but he did. And, there's countless others I could think of. But that was really, really unusual. And it worked out for us so far. I mean, Brock looks amazing. I mean, I've said it in multiple videos. He's got something special. It's what's in between his ears, man. He's got the it factor thing. He's got something. It's something that it's special, and I think it's gonna be pretty good. I think it's gonna be really good. I don't want to make it undersell him. I just think he's a little average. I need to see more. No, I'm not one of those guys. I think he's far above that. He's top. He's in the top 10 to me. If he's not 8, 9, or 10, and he's probably just going to keep going up. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to be throwing 400 yards a week. Probably not. He's probably not even going 300 every week. That wouldn't be playing into our game plan. Now, will there be games where that's probably going to happen? Those 300-yard games like last week? Yeah, that's probably going to happen. People can shut down the run or the opportunities that are given to you. So as an offense, you take what they're giving you. So if the defense is going to give up the pass, you got to take the shots. So I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to continue to happen as this offense evolves around Brock Purdy, because it's still evolving. I mean, we're seeing stuff we didn't see with Jimmy. Jimmy didn't throw outside the numbers this much. Jimmy didn't throw the sidelines like this. Jimmy didn't throw a lot of fades to the corner of the end zone. He didn't go for those pylons. Jimmy lived in the middle, and we all held our breath when he went anywhere else. Even in the middle, sometimes we held our breath. Let's be honest. Oh, Jimmy. Man, Jimmy looked good last week, huh? What did 3 picks? That was just Jimmy being back to Jimmy. That was Jimmy football. And I don't, for you Jimmy fans out there, I'm not a Jimmy hater by no means. Jimmy was good from when we had him, for what we needed him for. Now, we did see some improvements last year, I think, with Greasy as quarterbacks coach. But when they talk about Brock Purdy being limited, Jimmy was truly limited. Jimmy was limited in his brain. He was limited with his mobility, and he was mentally mentally. I don't want to sound like an asshole and say, you know, he's mentally limited. I don't want to get canceled. So yeah, so Jimmy was kind of even back to Jimmy last week with the Raiders. And speaking of the Raiders, all this talk right now with Devontae Adams, it's intriguing. It definitely is. You know, I don't like to speculate too much, and I've said that in many videos. But this one, it's got me thinking because if you lined up Debo, Ayuk, and Devontae Adams in a 3 wide receiver set with Christian McCaffrey in the backfield and George Kittle, dude, a defense is going to have some serious problems with that. Some serious problems with that. I mean, what Kyle Shanahan could do with that would just be, dude, it's mind-boggling of the possibilities. You know what I mean? It'd be playing like a video game. It would be like Madden, and you're just totally picking any player you want. I mean, dude, it would be cool. Now let's get to reality. Is it going to happen? Probably no. Do we have the firepower to do it? Yeah. Let's talk about that. We have the firepower to do it. Now, let's talk about what it would cost. Do they want a first? Well, we're probably going to be picking at the end of the first. It would be a 30s, late 20s. It's almost a first couple picks of a second round. I mean, I know a lot of people say, well, a first pick, still a first pick. Well, the 32nd pick in the first round is one pick away from the first pick in the second round. I mean, it's a high-end second round pick. Now, the first round gives you some extra bonuses as a player. You get 5th-year option. Probably get a little more money, obviously. But let's say that's what they were looking for. I don't know. I think I'm more on the idea of maybe give them a second and something else, like a real second, not a late first. And then you got to take on his contract. And I think read it earlier. See, $17 million for this year. I don't know how many years are still going on in his current contract with the Raiders, but it would probably be certain doom or the end of Brandon Ayuk with us, probably, or Debo. I mean, they would probably have to get rid of one or the other. Now, could you say financially they could keep all three? They probably could. I don't think they would. They probably financially could. But here's what we got to really focus on. It's 2023. We got to win a Super Bowl. And if Devontae Adams can help us get that, then it's worth it. If it's a 1-year rental, I don't know. If they keep him on for the remainder of his contract, fuck that. We'll worry about that next year. Let's go win a ring, okay? Let's worry about that next year. We'll worry about that 2024 offseason. Let's win a fucking ring. Yeah? That's what we're here for. That's what it's all about. So, if that is a possibility, and that's something we could do, we should definitely do it. Within, the realms of possibility, like, a second, maybe a second and a fourth, something like that. Don't just go like something insane like 2 first-round picks for, no one would do such a thing. Trade 2 first-round picks. Quarterback. Yeah, if it's something feasible, Second or third, second or fourth. I don't know if I do a second or third. But when you go back what I just said about getting a Super Bowl ring, then you start looking at it as well. Maybe a second and third is worth a Super Bowl. Yeah, it is. It is. Right? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. We still got a lot of draft picks this year. It would be nice to have a first. I don't know. That's my thoughts on Devontae Adams. So I'm all in. Let's do it. The other big one is Patrick Surtain Jr. Hello, Junior. We have a comment down there if you know what movie is that from. I'll give you a hint. No, I'm not, because then that would just give it away. If I gave one hint, it would give it away. Your name's Junior. Anyways, Patrick Surtain Jr., Denver Broncos, cornerback. Dude, he's young. I thought he was at least 24. Dude's 23 years old. One of the best corners in football. If he's available, this is what I was thinking the other day. Man, if Devontae and Patrick Surtain are available, go get them both. Anyways, back to Patrick Surtain. They're certainly going to want a first and more. Our first will be a late first. Our first round pick will be a late first. Most certainly. First, let me start off by saying I don't think they'll get rid of him because they're going to want to build, whether they get rid of Sean Payton or not. They're going to want to keep some core players, or else nobody else is going to come there and coach. That's why you see a lot of teams not getting rid of tackles, left tackles, right tackles, and we'll get into that next. But I just don't see them getting rid of Patrick Surtain. But since we are doing a YouTube and we talk about this stuff because that's what we like to do, let's entertain the idea. If it is possible, it is worth it. Because this guy would be on the team for the majority, if not the remainder of his career. So you obviously want to jump on that if you can. That would give us probably the best pair of corners in all football. You want to talk about playing some man-up defense. Yeah, that would be there. That would be some man-up corner. So, if it's a possibility, do it. And I know we've done friendly trades with Denver in the past. They do have a new ownership though too, so that could play something into it. But yeah, I think if it's doable, I would do that too. But I don't see that. I see that one least likely. Like with Devontae, he's already disgruntled. He's been vocal about it. I don't think I've heard anything coming from Patrick Surtain about being unhappy where he's at. So I don't know. Now, that doesn't mean he hasn't said anything. I mean, it means he's got some class a little bit. I'm not saying Devontae doesn't, but, keeping things indoors, I think is what I consider a classier move, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean he hasn't said anything to them. But young kid on a rookie contract, you don't got a lot to say, I don't believe. But if they're doing a fire sale over there, you never know. Anything's possible, but I just don't see that one happening. And the other hot topic that's been coming up this week has been, well, why can't we just go trade for someone's lineman? Why can't we go get the right tackle over? Man, there's just not a lot of good ones, and when the people got one, they don't want to give them up. So even if they're trying to get rid of some shit, they still have to put a team out there next year. So, and you're probably saying, well, then why would they get rid of Devontae? They would get rid of Devontae because he's being disgruntled, and they probably just want to get rid of it. He's been pretty unhappy since his buddy left, Carr. He's been less happy since he got his new not Buddy, Jimmy Garoppolo. So, and he's a vet. And sometimes when these vets are really good and they're pissed off, they kind of get their way a little more often, as opposed to a rookie. Excuse me. That's only been in the league for a couple years. He has no say about nothing. Not really. So that's why it's less likely seeing you just don't see it very often. Big name tackles getting traded. You just don't, especially big name ones. The one with us with Trent Williams is a little different because he was on the holdout. He missed a whole year of football. Washington just said they bit the bullet. They're like, oh, you know what? We're not going to get anything. We might as well get this, take this trade from the 49ers and move him. But there's nothing else like that going on right now. And there's not, they don't grow Trent Williams on trees. There is not another Trent Williams. And if someone had him, they're not going to trade him. More than likely. I could assume like every player that everybody's brought up in the last 3 weeks, I'm sure our team is checked into as well. Probably long before any of you thought about it. No disrespect to any of you, because I know there's a lot of smart people on 49ers YouTube. But as other people have said, bringing somebody in mid-season and not knowing the scheme, it's a complicated zone blocking scheme. This is not moving dudes in like man. You know, when they do straight up. That's what I ran in high school. So just man blocking, basically block the dude in front of you. When I played guard, I had linebacker responsibilities. Tackles took the down tackles or defensive end. It's pretty straightforward. The zone's different because you shift to different dudes. And you're going to have to go in there and learn it. And it could take time. Now, that's not saying that I wouldn't want to bring some of these guys in. If this guy's good and he can pick up something in a few weeks, man, by all means, do it. You know, then you could think about, you know, right before the bye, you'd get time for that player to get accustomed to it. So I'm not saying no to it. If that dude's out there on the trade block and he's better than what we got, look into it. And yeah, definitely not saying no. I'm just saying that the reason why it's not as common because it's just one, other teams don't want to give up this player, and two, bringing that player in, we'd have to learn the system a little bit. It's not plug and play. So there we are on that. Now we got to move on. In case you guys didn't know, we have a game on Sunday. Home game, Arizona Cardinals. They did look pretty good, huh? They beat the Cowboys. No, I did not expect that. I didn't expect it to be a good game. Either Dallas just wasn't prepared, or they were just believing their own hype, which happens all the time. That's why they call them trap games, or there's all kinds of reasons. But they didn't show up, and or Arizona just out physicaled them. And there was a home game for the Cardinals. That does help. Dallas was on the road. Now, that's not a very long road game from Texas to Arizona. It's just worth noting. So we would have them at home. I'm assuming they're going to try the same stuff, very similar. They're going to try to be physical. I don't expect that to work as well. I think the 49ers were just far more disciplined. And we're just better at bringing energy. We bring it on the road. We certainly bring it at home. We're one of the tougher teams to beat at home in the league. But I do expect Arizona to come out swinging. I do expect them to come out and play some physical football. because no matter what your roster is or how good you are, or how bad you are, if you come out with that attitude, I mean, it always gives you a little bit of a chance. Sometimes you got to go there and bully the bully. It's just not going to work this week, though. No, I don't. I don't see that happen. Uh, I think Dobbs, that's their quarterback, who's filling in for the little guy. I forget his name. Murray. Not making fun of people that are short. I don't have any problem with people who are short. I just forgot his name, and I remember him as the little guy. He's just a little guy. He's just a little guy. So Dobbs, who didn't look too bad, he can run the ball. He's a moving quarterback. I just think he's going to be running for his life a lot. I expected. Who's the dude with the Giants last week? Danny Dimes. Man, he didn't throw any dimes last week. Anyways, I expected him to try to run the ball a bit more, but he really didn't. We kept him in the pocket, which was one of my keys to victory. If you didn't see that, but I expect this guy to get blitzed. Well, not necessarily blitz because we don't have to blitz a lot, but I expect him to be under constant pressure. Dobbs. He's not going to have that kind of time. And it's so weird because you look at Dallas with Micah Parsons and that line they got. I don't know what they were doing. I would like to go back and watch that and see what defense they were lining up in, like with their base package. What were they lining up in first and second and third downs? I got to see that, especially on the first and second. Because whatever the Dallas Cowboys did, we want to do the opposite of that. We definitely don't want to do what they did. We want to get pressure on that quarterback. We got to stop that run because Connor's been looking good this year. And he had some spurts last year, I do believe. Stop the run. We stopped that run, and I think we forced that guy to throw, and we're going to see the real Dobbs. So, I haven't done my keys to victory on this game. That'll be tomorrow. So I'm kind of giving my thoughts away on that right now. But like I said, this is a preview. I think last week I did my game preview and I had my keys to victory. I might have to do another video, separate video where I actually got this all thought out and be like a professional YouTube commentator. We'll see. I think that's pretty much all they got going for them is that run game. We stop that, I think everything falls apart. The wheels fall off. I don't know what you guys think. That's pretty much what I see. Think that quarterback is Cinderella. It's about to be midnight on Sunday at 10. That made tons of sense. But you understand what I'm talking about. Yep. I just don't see any possibility where they pull this off. Like I said, they're going to play physical. That will help. I think we'll out-physical them. If they can establish their run, if we have a problem with the run, then we could possibly have a problem. But I just think with our firepower offensively, I mean, let's just hypothetically, this is a shootout, right? We should be able to outscore this team. Let's say our defense just doesn't show up. We pull a Dallas Cowboys and we're getting ran on. I think we can score more points. I don't see that happening. No. Like I haven't said or predicted a shutout once this year so far, but this could be a shutout. The 49ers might not give up any points. So that's more where I'm leaning. I'm just giving you worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, if they can get that running game going. Hey, You never know. So stop the run, and the Cardinals go home. They fly away back to the desert. I wonder if Cardinals really live in deserts. I think so. I think of like vultures. I think of vultures out in the desert. Buzzards. Never been there. I don't know. All right, folks, I'm going to jump off here. I'll be back on tomorrow with my keys to victory for this game, 49ers versus Cardinals. And I'll give my score prediction. Hope you guys have a amazing remainder of your day. And I will catch you guys tomorrow. Later.